right, welcome back, everyone. This is Tim, one of the co-hosts for the Dumpling Cat podcast. This is going to be a short series in which I just interview my friends and just show off how cool they are, their many talents, and maybe even get to know them a little better. For my very first guest, I'll let him introduce himself. Sir?
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Tim's friend since 2016-ish.
Not that long ago.
Not really. It really kicked off 2016 though.
Mm-hmm. How about your age and your occupation, sir?
I am 27 and I'm an electrical engineer at a company called Rovises.
Okay, very good. And to just lighten the mood, how would you say your first impression of me was?
There are many types of weird in this world, and I know that because I'm weird. But then I was like, man, that's just a whole nother category of weird. I don't know I don't know how to define that. But you called me out to just hang, and I was like, weird recognized weird.
I think, was it Christian's tailgate?
Yeah, steak night.
I think we went on a steak night, and then we talked for like a good.
Who knows how long, dude?
I just knew it was like at least 2-3 hours, and we had work.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it was intense.
Do you remember when you first met me at Eugene's house church, or when we were still part of?
Yeah, dude. I just thought you were loud. I'm like, back then, I was really not too fond of like just like really loud and like really in your face kind of people. I don't know what it was that changed, but like back then I just wasn't. And I was like, man, this guy, I don't know if he'd like the kind of guy I am and vice versa. But as time passed, I got to see a little bit more and more of you. And I was like, Tim's actually a really cool guy. I feel bad for judging him like that.
No, I think I had I think my first impression when I first met you was like, wow, like we're just letting like kids from straight out of college just come into like these adult house churches. And I was like, I remember just you being super quiet. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know if this guy will mesh well with us, because I think like he only answers in one-liners for every question that I'm asking. And two, what else? I remember like everything that like Eugene and I and like other guys kind of had like interest in like sports and well, mostly sports you were not into. So I remember we were having conversations about sports and you're just like, nah, that's not my thing. And you just kind of sat there and just ate your food very quietly. And we're just like, oh, I don't think this kid's going to last. And surprisingly, like, no, I think we were multiplied. Yeah. Because
about to, not
was
yet.
Was it? Because
I came to visit before you guys multiplied.
Oh, okay. So then it was like right before, because then you went straight to Kohler's.
Yeah, so it was between Eugene's house church and Kohler's house church. And yeah, there wasn't even talks of multiplication just yet, as far as I remember. But like the night I went, yeah, I remember there was a lot of people in the house church. So you guys were ready to multiply.
Yeah.
And we had pizza that night. We had Costco pizza that night. I don't remember whose house it was.
Was it Costco? I thought it was at Bill Bay's house in Yale. Was it Yale? Was it in the Heights in Yale or whatever? But it was a Pizza Hut pizza.
Was it? It was. All I remember is that the place was two stories high.
Yeah.
Like you go up the stairs, and like you're already in the living room.
Yeah. It was Bill Bay's, and so Bill had a little money. So I remember he got Pizza Hut, and that's when like Pizza Hut revamped their whole things, and they had all these different. You could get toppings. The crust could have different toppings. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, moving on. So, Chris Ahn, you're very well known by a lot of people, and I think you're by far one of the most talented people I have ever met. To me, I would recognize you, and if you go to New Life, the praise team leader is named Simon, and he's very well known because he's presented a lot of places, and people consider him very talented musically. he's very smart and all this, but like I feel like you're the low key kind of the hidden gem of New Life. I think you have a reputation of you play bass and you've played it in multiple praise team events, whether in youth or at fall retreat. You were like a youth leader for a bit. You're a shepherd, but also
I was just a Bible study teacher, man.
A Bible study teacher. But I think people don't recognize that like you have like you can sing very well. You have a very unique voice, a very versatile voice.
Thank you.
And I think you're even best known because you write poems for people.
Yeah.
So let's go with the poems. How did you start up like having a passion in writing for poems?
So as a kid, you know, the first poems I ever read were Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein. And you know, like if you go to like a rapper's page on Wikipedia or wherever, they'll always list out like who their influences were. So like you go to Eminem, you'll see like all these influences from like the golden age of like hip hop rap. Yeah, you go to mine and it's two people, Shel Silverstein and Dr. Seuss. I'm not kidding, dude. But I like that, you know, I like the sense of rhyme. And so like I still remember like first grade, you know, we had a whole unit on poetry and I was like, all right, cool. I like writing poems. And then, you know, next step was like somewhere around fourth grade, I was like, hey, I wrote a poem for Thanksgiving. And my mom was like, cool. And then it wasn't until eighth grade that someone actually like complimented me on my writing. It was my eighth grade history teacher, Miss Bovey.
Oh, wow.
Shout
out to Miss Bovey.
And she's like, yeah, I know, right? And she was like, this is amazing. And I was like, really? It's like, like not a lot of people can do this. Like this is, I was like, oh, cool. Then it kind of went dead for a while because like I just didn't have an outlet. And, you know, I was more interested in like, I don't know, watching anime and stuff. But then kick it around to like freshman year of high school, Facebook comes along. Well, more or less Facebook comes along. I think it came around like high school for me, otherwise sophomore year of high school roughly. And, you know, you start seeing people's birthdays. And at first I was like, oh, cool. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. And I was like, but then, you know, you have like really close friends too. So I was like, I don't want to just leave happy birthday. I want to like make them like feel like they're having a happy birthday. So it started off as like just ridiculous prose or like random paragraphs of junk. Sometimes it'd be like little short stories. And then one day I was like, I could write a poem. Yeah, let's write a poem. So I wrote a poem and then I was like, that wasn't so bad. And then, you know, it just kind of like went from like prose to like poetry straight up for all these birthdays. And then you pile that up for like what? Let's say around junior year of high school is when I like made it just flat out poems for everyone's birthdays. Yeah, you just keep doing that like at least once a week. For me, it's like who knows how many times a week. And that's practice for me. And it grows. And so like what took like maybe 30 minutes in the past, I just sit there and then it warped into what it is now. And it's just kind of like second nature to me at times.
Yeah, I feel like most people who are your friends on Facebook now almost expect a poem from you, and that if you don't give it in a few days' time, you know, they might feel a bit hurt that you've forgotten them. Like you're a hot commodity.
I try not to forget. I mean, there'll be days where it's like I look at the Facebook and see whose birthday it is, and I'll be like, let me see. And I'll check our friendship just to see like if they check it, it's like they didn't comment, they didn't like. I think I can get away with one day. So I'll just like go to usually like that's like when I'm really tired and I'll see like birthdays posted like it's so and so's birthday. It's like
so by the like, tier of friends, it's how immediate they get.
Yeah, I mean, like if they actually read it and they respond, like in the past, I've gotten close to because after a certain point, it's like there's some people like I don't think they just straight up just don't communicate with me anymore on Facebook, and so I just kind of like I just kind of ghost them out on poems. You'll notice that. And then every so often I'll get like, I haven't talked to this person forever. And then I'll look at the friendship. It's like underneath on the comment from last year's poem and the year before that, it's like, I love your poems and I look forward to them every year. It's like, ooh. I was like, I fine. So I sit there and it's like, okay. And then I'll type it up. But there are just some days where it's like, you know, it's a sad moment when you sit there. It's like, I kind of feel bad, but I don't think they read them. So I just kind of like ghost them out. But every now and then they'll just like there are a few of them they'll like reach out to me. It's like, hey, how have you been? And da 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 da. And then, you know, the lines of communication are back up and running. It's like, all right, cool. And then poems come back.
Do you think you write around 50 poems a year for birthdays?
No.
More?
Way
100?
more. Dude, I have, hold up. Where's my, like, I don't, all right. So there are people I will straight up like not write a poem for just because like I've cut off communication.
Of course.
But
you're
like,
ghosting them.
More or less. But you know, I reach out like if I were to take a rough guess, like 80%. So sitting at what? How many friends? Yeah, we're in the like we're right next to 1,000 friends. So like,
so you think
shoot,
you write about 800 poems in a year then? If you said about 80%, right?
No,
that's almost 800.
Okay,
poems.
Well let's account for. Okay, hold up, because you know we got to account for some people. Like I know, like I've sat there and some people like I'll be like, wait a minute, have I ever written a poem for them? And I'll go to their Facebook page and I realize they've either like cut off posting, otherwise they just don't post their birthday. So it's like, oh, interesting. So safely, I feel like I can easily write at the bare minimum like 300 poems a year.
Wow. So
safely.
So almost you would even say that for a calendar year, you're writing a poem every day.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to span it out, but like there are days where it's like no one's got a birthday, and then there's days where it's like I think the record stands at like 8 people on one day, and I was like,
God,
bring it, let's go. Every time those days happen, I just sit there. It's like, bring it.
So you talked about how you progressed as a wordsmith. I think you deemed yourself as the wordsmith of your family. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know where that title came from exactly, but like it kept showing up. Like everyone that figured out that I write poetry, I don't know why it was those 2 words in particular, wordsmith. They would be like, you're quite the wordsmith. I'm like, ooh, I like that title.
So do you think you could freestyle a poem? If someone gave you a subject, you could spit out like 4 bars right there. Like simple.
Like verbally?
Yeah.
No.
No. So you think you have to write
very,
something?
very rare. Like, yeah, all of mine is like written. Like I will sit there and it'll come to me like lightning and it'll transfer out of my fingertips as opposed to out of my mouth faster.
Okay. So you're more of like, you like to write things down rather than
just
spit it.
I can't rap to save my life, dude. I learned that the easy way. I was like, nope.
Okay. Very good. Well, I think that's something a lot of people really do look forward to. I know I look forward to it. And if I don't get it in an hour's time that I've been awake on my birthday, I get quite offended. So,
I mean, I take time to write these. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of them come to me like that.
You should be preparing
I still take time.
1 year in advance already.
Well,
you should be like already.
Don't get me wrong. I thought about doing that for some people at one point, like when I was really young, but I was like, one day at a time, one day at a time.
All right. And so I also spoke about, you're one of the few people I enjoy going to karaoke with. And, you know, the funny thing is you never sing any Korean songs. You sing a very variety amount of songs. So what 3 songs are your go-to songs every single time you go to karaoke?
The 2 for sure I can name off the top of my head would be Superstition by Stevie Wonder and Aha's Take On Me. Other than that, if things get, if the crowd seems fresh enough, and otherwise I don't like these people haven't heard me sing that much, I'll default to Louis Armstrong's Wonderful World.
So I feel like that is a very huge game changer for the night. I think even whether the night is going like we're going hard and we're seeing like 2 hours in, everyone is sweating, like you bring it up and it brings new energy. But
Oh
also it's
yeah,
like
man.
when the night is dull and everyone's singing like sad, like Korean songs about being lonely, you break that song and it just brings the mood up.
It's like what the heck? Where did this come from? Pretty much.
Do you know could you give us a few lines of your very famous Louis Armstrong take?
Hold up.
Just for a few seconds. You don't need to do the whole song.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I forgot the rest of the song, so back to you.
Oh,
and I think to myself, what a wonderful cast.
Man. And so when did you realize you could imitate Louis Armstrong's voice, his unique voice like that?
So more often than not, I just pick these things up by accident. So I'm just sitting, I'm listening to the song, and I like to mess around. So I was just like, I can speak like Louis Armstrong too. It's like, wait, could I sing like Louis Armstrong though? And then I'll just like play something on YouTube by him. And, you know, the easiest one is Wonderful World. And so it's like, I think I could do an okay job. It's not until I like get acknowledgement from someone that's like, okay, I could do a good job. And I think like my sister was like one of the earliest people was like, that's not bad. I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And so that's like one of my favorite things to do is just like copy off people if I can.
Also, I think, haven't you had any, have you ever sang in public outside of just in karaoke?
Yes. Well, hold up. Like, define public.
More than 10, 15 people.
Yeah. Okay. So back at my previous job, so I used to work for a fiber optics laser manufacturer and chip manufacturer called AOI, and they would have a talent show for the holidays every year, or at least that's what they were trying to do. And so the year I was there, they decided to do a talent show, and you know, the prizes for first, second, and third were in order $3,000, $2,000, and $1,000.
Wow!
So I sat there. I'm like doing the math. As long as I place 1, 2, or 3, I'm winning the show. Because like the thing about the other competitors is that they tried to do a team effort, and I was like, I could do that, but one, I don't really know anyone here that well, and two, what's stopping me from just soloing it? So like, all right, let's give it a shot. So I entered and I got in, and I placed second for with my singing, and so I took home $2,000. And I still remember like first place team was like 8 people, and they had to split up $3,000, and I was like, I still won. And then one of the guys leading the team, he looked over at me. He's like, when we were up to get our trophies and our prize checks, he's like, you know, you won the show, right? It's like, yeah, I know I won the show. It's like, you're the real winner tonight. It's like, I know I'm the real winner tonight, dude.
So you only got a cash check. There was no trophy or
no, I got a trophy. It's over there. It's
just... can we get a sneak peek of the trophy?
Give me a second.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can we put it next to your body for measurement or significance of size?
All right. So this is the base. I'm just putting it on like a yoga ball right now.
Okay.
And the yoga ball is like, I'd say it's up to my knees.
Wow.
So like if anything, like on the ground, it's like you see the star. And I'm standing at, well, you know, I'm off screen, but like I'm standing at 5'10", and this is right at, a little bit over the halfway point. So yeah.
And what song did you sing?
I sang 3 songs.
Okay.
Hold up, let me just put this back.
Wow, 3 songs.
Yep. I feel like I should have stopped at 2, but I sang 3. And the songs were where were they? One of them was dang it. I keep wanting to say Bobby Ocean, but I know Somewhere Beyond the Sea by Bobby Darin. There we go.
Okay.
So Somewhere Beyond the Sea by Bobby Darin. The finale was My Girl by the Temptations.
Oh.
And the real, I think my best was Frank Sinatra's I Got the World on a String.
Oh my. Well,
yeah.
I want to show off your talent. So can you give us a few the song that you feel the most confident? So you say it was Mr. Sinatra's?
Yeah. So just a few lines, I guess.
Yeah. How about you just stand up? Give me a few lines.
Dude,
stand up. I feel like.
Do I have to stand up? I mean, I feel like I can sit down doing this.
No, you gotta do a performance, man. I'm
in my polo and shorts. I don't know how I can perform to this.
It's okay. You're business up top, party in the bottom. So we only need the business on top. But how about you give us a few lines?
All right. I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got my string around that finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love. I've got a song that I sing, I can make the rain go anytime I move my finger. Lucky me, can't you see I'm in love? Yeah.
Very good. Wow. We can have a round of applause right there. All right, Mr. Ahn. I feel like once again, like you have so many talents, and were you a big performer back in the day, like in your college years or in high school? Did you like join choir? No.
Nope. At best, I did cello from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Wait, did you say you did cholo?
Like no, cello. Like I played the cello from 6th to 12th grade, but that was more of I didn't master it. Let's go with that. Even now, like I know people say like, "Oh, you're just trying to sound humble." It's like, no, straight up, I didn't make it past 2nd tier orchestra in high school, so I'm not that like. We have way better like cellists, violinists, and violists at church and everywhere else. But I was more about like the environment and like the friendships I made, so it's cool. But other than that, I picked up bass sophomore, freshman year of high school, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, no, earlier than that, I think around 8th grade. But other than that, any singing I did prior to was usually just at home just at home. Like the only other time like where I actually sang out loud prior to, I guess, so I don't know, that one performance I was talking about earlier was I was in choir in 5th and 4th grade as a kid. But yeah, I didn't really sing that much. There are a few church events, but nothing to like project onto. Like my sister sang way more, and you want to see you want to hear a good set of pipes, you go listen to my sister. But otherwise, yeah, like singing, I didn't really have a lot of opportunities growing up to like just sing. But like I loved imitating though. So like I would imitate people singing in a choir, or I would imitate like opera singers, or just real, voices that I really liked. So like Louis Armstrong being one of them, and just messed around with it. And then one day it's like you're presented with an opportunity to just be a total troll and like just break the status quo. And it's like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Well, I really like your mindset of just like trying different things and getting out of your comfort zone. Do you think you're someone who enjoys like the newness of conquering a new goal, or like wanting to try something new? Or because it seems like even though you're not, yourself, like you might not be at the best of it, you still go at it 100%. It seems like you give it your all.
I give it my all, and even if it doesn't seem all that great, I still keep going. I just really like there is a level of like, yeah, I did this, a sense of accomplishment. but like the whole process of getting there is really fun. I mean, sometimes it sucks. I mean, like, you'll practice and then listen to your recording. It's like, man, that really sucks. But like, you keep practicing, and then like you'll look back on your recordings and you'll play the earliest one, and then you'll listen to yourself as you go. It's like that's where it all worked out in the end. So it's just like just watching yourself grow during the journey. That's what I really like.
Now I remember some things that we were talking about a few years ago. You were on the keto train. Can you describe your experiences and where you are now with if you are dieting or working out of any sort?
So good news, it works. Bad news, you got to live on it for the rest of your life, and that's not fun. I like my boba, I like my cakes, I like my sweets, and you can only get so far with Splenda and erythritol and whatever that monk fruit is. I mean, if I had to lose weight drastically, really, really quick, then yeah, I'll do it. But am I going to expect to keep it off really well? No, probably not. I mean, it's, based off what I've seen, it really does come down to what you eat, but even deeper, all the habits that build up to it. So like actually going out to exercise so that you actually have a sufficient calorie burn. And then there's a whole mental game with self-control and understanding how much you can eat or how much you should eat is the better statement. And, so portion control is a big deal too.
When did you do keto? Was it in 2018?
Give me a second. 2018 sounds about right. I picked it up right after that talent show, which was in 2017. Yeah. So 2018.
And how much weight did you lose?
20.
Wow. How long were you on it?
2-3 months. Yep.
But after those 3 months, you didn't feel like it was very sustainable in your lifestyle?
I mean, I don't know about, depends on what you mean by sustainable. Like, can I do it for the rest of my life? Of course. Do I want to do it? No.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's like,
do you still remember when we went to Golden Oolong and you ordered a cup full of boba?
Oh, heck yes, man.
And that was after you drank a Texas-sized like milk tea with boba?
Yeah. Dude, I love that stuff.
It looked so disgusting, but the spectacle, like y'all have to imagine, like a Texas-sized at Golden Oolong, a Texas-sized boba is probably what? Would you say like two? Would you say like it's two regular-sized milk teas, right?
It's something like this.
Oh my gosh! So he got that, and then he just out of the blue just asked the cashier like, "Hey, could I just get a cup of boba? Like that's all I want." And so I think if you get bobas on top as a topping, it's like 50 cents, right? It's 50 or 75 cents. And they're like, sure. And then they fill a whole cup with boba, and it ended up costing like $2 or $3.
$2 to $5, somewhere around there.
Oh my gosh. It was pretty disgusting.
It was a bucket list item, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I did it, and it's like never again.
Jeez.
You gotta you gotta offer cash if you want me to do it again. But like if you want to like punish someone for like losing a game of something, it's like you gotta eat a whole cup of boba. That's pretty sufficient.
So what about now? Like being in quarantine, have you tried, because I know you're a big cook too. Can you also talk about your cooking, but are you like trying to moderate, you're talking about portion control. Have you been trying to eat better or eat cleaner? Also, have you been trying to exercise since quarantine started?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, it's been pretty unhealthy since quarantine started because I've done like this semi-demi hemi intermittent fasting. So it wasn't intended. It was just because of the way I stay at home. I would pretty much just start work by getting out of bed. I wouldn't bother going down and just get breakfast. I'd just get out of bed, start work, and then go downstairs to make lunch. And
Mhm.
then I would usually have a big enough lunch where it would hold me off for the rest of the day.
Mhm.
And that was my one meal for the day. And I lost some weight, around 17 pounds.
Wow.
It started to like plateau for a little bit.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I did this for like what, the entirety of quarantine. So it's like what, 2 months now.
Mhm.
And it's it definitely proves that intermittent fasting works. But at some point, reality is going to hit. I mean, quarantine's not going to last forever.
Right.
And yeah, you told me it's like that's not sustainable, and like at some point it is going to plateau. And you're right. And what's it? Yeah, so I got to picking up walking. So uh, I decided to up the ante for the first round, and I had some like leg weights.
Okay.
You just wrap around your legs and just walk with
Mhm.
them. Walked like, according to Google, I walked like 2.5 miles. No, wait. 3 miles. 3 miles. 3 miles. I
Okay.
walked 3 miles to a certain point and back, and I just
Mhm.
walked with the weights, and it's pretty fun. I mean, I just had Netflix on, and I just walked down this really long straight path, and then when time came back, I just did a 180 and just went back home.
So was
So
it 3 miles round trip or 3 miles there and 3 miles back?
round trip,
Round trip. Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
So yeah,
When
and then like, oh yeah,
when did you start that?
last week on, if I were to take a guess, I think Monday, last Monday, I think.
Okay. Cool.
Fun times.
And so you just started up walking this past week,
Yeah.
and what else?
Yoga.
Yoga. So how
Yeah.
can you explain doing yoga? Are you doing it by yourself?
No. So you, Tim and I. So how do I address like whoever's watching? Is like you and I, or Tim and I, or
You could
I just do what I
however you feel
do.
comfortable.
So
Yeah.
so Tim and I have this mutual friend. His name's Edmund Jung. Shout out to you, Edmund Jung. Uh, and he's recently wanted to become more active.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I didn't really want to do anything intense because I was like, at the weight I'm currently at, I don't want to start crushing bones.
True.
Honestly, that's more paranoia than actual truth. But still, like, I just didn't want the minimum amount of pain. I was like, so he was like, "You want to go running with me?" I was like, nah. And he's like, "Oh, okay." It's like, "How about you want to lift weights?" It's like, "Nah, not that either." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And I didn't want to like just let it die there. I was like, I don't want to just leave him hanging. It's like yoga. And he's like, "What?" It's like, "I'll do yoga with you." And he's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, my house on my driveway, yoga." He's like, "Oh, okay." So he shows up and we do yoga. And uh, we tried to do twice a week, but we ended up just settling for once a week.
I know you're a big cook. Where would you say your top 3 things you've cooked in the quarantine has been? Because I know you post a lot of your pictures on Facebook and Instagram.
Let me see. During quarantine, I
Mm-hmm.
think easily one of them would have to be mochi donuts.
Okay. Wow, you made mochi donuts.
I made mochi donuts.
Wow.
Everyone was
And I
like,
never got any.
"Man, when can I give them to you?" All right, fine. You gotta issue that kind of challenge. Just
Just
watch,
kidding.
see what happens. See what happens.
Okay, so mochi donuts.
Just get a pile of donuts right in front of you one day. It's like, where these come from? It's like, oh. But hold up, let me see. So
Mm-hmm.
I compile an album. So I've just been like shotgunning. It's like 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Next one. And what else have I made? So chartsu. I made chartsu. That was pretty fun.
Can you explain to the audience what char siu is?
It's you marinate pork in a really sweet marinade, and then you broil it for
Okay.
for a short amount of time, and it creates this nice like sweet glaze coating.
Mm-hmm.
And during the broil, you also like make sure you glaze it. And so it's a cut of pork, usually pork butt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know why they call it butt, but it's actually pork shoulder. And yeah. I feel like I looked this up at one point, but Yeah, so it's pork shoulder that you marinate and broil with a nice sweet glaze. It's a dish that originates from China. Um, but yeah, other than that, shoot, it's all been really good, dude.
Gotta give me one more,
Uh,
bro.
man, it's tricky because a lot of it was pretty refreshing. Oh man, because I'm looking at them right now, dude. I guess the German platter that I made was really good.
What was on the German platter?
So get ready for a German lesson. So you got what was it? Sauerbraten. So that's sour beef, if you will. So you
Mhm.
marinate beef in a wine sauce for 3 to 5 days. For me, 5 days.
Okay.
And wait, what was it? 3. Anyway, so you marinate and then you slow cook it. So you have a nice it's like a very wine rich pot roast, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The other dish was spätzle, which is pretty much butter noodles. So what
Spätzle?
spätzle? And what you
Spätzle.
yeah, it's like saying special, but
Uh-huh.
spätzle.
Wunderbar.
So that's yeah. So you take some flour, make a batter, and then you set. So it's not like pancake batter fluid, but a little thicker than that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
when you pour it, it's kind of slow. You just send it through a cheese grater. So you pour it through a cheese grater, and it comes out as little droplets, and it hits
Oh, that's
boiling
pretty
water.
smart.
Yeah, and so like it hits the boiling water, and it becomes like these little tiny pods in the water as they boil. And yeah, you've got these butter noodles essentially, because then afterwards you mix them up in a frying pan filled with melted butter, and then a little bit of parsley for flavor. The other thing was called rotkohl, or rotkohl. That is,
Rotkohl.
yeah, it's just red cabbage. So
Oh.
you braise red cabbage with red wine vinegar and red wine. And what was the last thing oh shoot. Um, uh, the English, it's hold up, Kartoffelklöße. So that's
Rosa.
German potato dumplings. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, and you just take some flour, you take an egg, you take some potatoes, and you just mix it all together, and then just boil that. And
Mm-hmm.
some people put a filling, some people don't. I opted not to put a filling because it's carbs anyway. And you just put that on a plate, and you got yourself Rothkohl. I mean, about a German food platter.
Oh, wow. That was a great description of it and learning some new things.
There you go.
Well, Mr. Ahn, I know that you're my first guest, so you get to be the guinea pig of a lot of questions I want to ask. But as many people who know me, a topic that I love to talk about are relationships and dating and singlehood, because I myself am single, but this is not about me. This is about you. So
Okay.
here's some questions that I like to ask. Number 1, are you single?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, are you looking to not be single?
I wouldn't say I'm looking per se. I want to like find someone, but right now I'm just like kind of enjoying life.
So you're open to it. There's no one that
Yeah, there you go.
you're not like looking for. You're not like throwing yourself out there per se, but like if someone happens to cross your way, you're not going to just ignore it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. I have, let's see, if this is a good reflection time of yourself, what are 3 things about you that someone would notice and be like, oh, like I'm kind of interested in that Christopher Ahn. What 3 things would you think would spark interest in girls, or like qualities that they might like about you?
That is tricky.
I don't want too much deep thought. Like just let it come from the dome.
I'm not gonna lie. Ability to cook.
Hey, that's a good one.
So yeah, I mean, which is kind of weird because like growing up, all these adults and all these people were like, "Oh, you can cook." It's like, yeah, it's like all the ladies are gonna come to you. It's like, fast forward, it's like, where are all the ladies?
Maybe they need to mature and understand the true value that you are, Mr. Ahn.
I try to be strategic. So there's a level of thought.
Strategic.
I mean, maybe that's the wrong word. I take my time to think about things before acting on them more often than not.
So not overly emotional. You're not a very reactive person.
Yeah.
There we go.
Like if I am at times, I usually have like people that I consider my, they keep me in check. So usually I'll throw the ideas to them. It's like, hey, I think this is an awesome idea. And, I set myself up to like talk to like the realest people I can so that they can ask me the hard questions that like, if emotions are on the high, like that I'm completely missing, they'll throw them at me. So like, if I have this idea, like I got this idea for like a business and, I got this one friend of mine that I call and he's like, all right, well, what research have you done so far? And I'll list this, and you'll be like, but have you checked this? And that's enough time to like calm down. And it's like, I didn't think of that. And so like that sets me down the path of like doing more research and like actually being a lot more considerate as to whether like I should pursue certain actions or not.
So very much like an engineer to look at every side of it before going about it. Okay, how about one more quality about yourself? I mean, it feels like you have so many.
I'm not sure how, but I get called a funny guy. I'm not sure how. And I feel like that in itself can be attractive. It's just like, y'all call me funny. I just like, I can't define or pick out like what it is that's funny about me. I think I'm eccentric. I'll admit that.
I would say your type of funny is very, I want to call your type of humor very innocent and pure. Like you don't really ever go the raunchy route. You don't go for like low hanging fruit type of jokes, right? Or not controversial type of jokes. It's very like you love puns.
Yes. Yes, I do.
And I think what you do a great job is, even though other people might not find it funny, you genuinely like think you're funny. I think you have a bit of confidence, and that's why people think you're funny, because you yourself believe you're pretty funny.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I guess those are my three things.
All right. I wanted to ask one more question, at least about dating.
Okay, go for it.
Is holy hot?
Is that really a question? Yes. I don't. That's like, wait, serious?
I'm just asking, is holy hot?
Yes, it is.
And how important is meeting someone or meeting a woman of faith? What kind of qualities of a woman of faith are you looking for? And don't just give me, I mean, we just heard a message about the Proverbs 31 woman, but what are some things that you're like, ooh, like you see something you're probably like, it sparks a little interest. Like, I see that. I notice you. You're on my radar. Ding, ding.
The first thing that comes to mind, I'm just like trying to make sure if like I'm wording this right, is a strong woman.
Ooh.
So someone like, I get it. We all like, there is a tipping point. There is a crumbling point emotionally for all of us. And I understand that like there's some people that need to take solitude. Otherwise, there's some people that need other people. But I'm looking for someone who knows that and is willing to go to God and willing to go to the people that, she knows walks with God to get out of the hole or like find healing or find rest. Because, I've like, I like a strong woman I admire in my life is my mom. And like, she's been through a lot of just rough stuff in her life. But one thing I've seen in her is that she knows that she's got a family to take care of. She knows that the bills don't pay themselves. And, while she had all this time to like stay at home and do nothing about it, she went out there and like she was hard at work taking care of the family, and but at the same time she's vulnerable. Like she doesn't want to be at sometimes, but she's vulnerable, and to like her children no less. But we've seen her like hold up through so much pressure all this time. So what can I do other than respect her? And that's something I admire in like anyone in general, but like to find a woman, because I feel like like maybe as a man in a relationship, you do have to be a pillar, but I'm not without fault. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna be like standing tall 100% of the time. Like I want someone that I can talk to and open up to, and vice versa. Someone who can talk to me and find me as emotional support too. So yeah, just for me, it's like strength, and then just the ability to like share and communicate. Because that's something like I watched, not just like, so like that's something I watched growing up in a bunch of relationships. It's just the lack of communication could just cause the whole thing to crumble. And it's really sad, because all they had to do is just open up a little bit even, but like pride or ego or whatever like just got in the way, and it's like, all right. And what sucks more is like when children are involved. And it's like I get one thing where it's like, oh, you're just dating. I mean, it sucks to be you guys, but then like you watch a married couple and like the kids have to suffer because of it. It's like, that's messed up. So,
well, I appreciate that honesty. I think that's you opened up a bit. I think that's a side that maybe not a lot of people get to see, from you, because I think you're very fun and optimistic person. But I think this was just a great opportunity for people to get to know you even better. Even your friends get to hear a different perspective from you. So I think this was pretty awesome. But I just wanted to thank you for being my very first guest.
Thanks,
hopefully,
man.
if I can edit this, even though I've never edited a video before, but maybe I'll YouTube it and do my best. But Gary might be editing this, and if he is, Gary, you're doing a great job. Thank you very much, brother. But I just wanted to thank you for being my very first guest.
For sure, man.
But who would you like to see next? Who is someone that you think I should interview next?
Give me a second.
And this could be anyone, not.
No, I'm thinking. Just give me a minute. I would say Simon Yu.
Simon Yu. Wow. Okay.
He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Ahn, it was a pleasure. Thank you for being the very first guest.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, and hopefully, after we get big and pop off, we'll get you back on here again, and hopefully you'll have a Mrs. Ahn, or at least a lady friend with you by then. And then
we'll see.
All right. This is Tim, and I'm signing off. Dumpling Cat Podcast. Join. You can subscribe. If you don't, that's fine. We're just doing this for the heck of it. But yeah, we'll see you next time. Peace.
All right. Take care, man.
Mm-hmm.